monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners will now come to order. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Ronald Colley.
Here.
Clarence Marks.
Here.
Mitch Danoff.
Here.
Roland Curall.
Here.
Robert E. Mark.
Here.
Todd Falk.
Here.
McNeely Rome. Keith Gidry.
Here.
Monty Vegas.
Here.
Mr. President, we have one.
Okay, thank you. The Vice President, please call the leaders of the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You started going down to one knee, I saw Okay, this has been provided a copy of the minutes of the last regular meeting. Any corrections or deletions to the minutes as presented to you? If not, the chair will take a motion to accept them as presented. Moved by Monty, seconded by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, you'll have to excuse me, I'm just getting out of bed with a cold, so my voice is kind of breaking up. We have the annual election of officers scheduled for today, and the committee assignment after that. So the chair will open the nominations for president of the South Representative District. I need a motion for president.
I'll move Ronald Colley for president.
Motion has been made to approve Ronald Colley as president. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? I need a second to that too. You have to excuse me, I'm confused. Second by Roland, just to be sure. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? That's it? Okay. I need a motion to end the nomination for president. Moved by Mitch, seconded by Bob. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Mr. President, can I change my motion for all officers to stay as they were this year? Does that sound like it? Just do that and
Put
continue?
it at this point now.
Is it?
For the vice president and secretary.
Secretary, all officers that are currently on board to renominate them. I vote to change my motion.
The motion has been changed. Even after voting, I don't know if it's legal or not, but it's been changed. To re-elect all officers as standing at this 1930. It's a question. Anyway, I need a second for that. Second by Bob. Any discussion on this matter? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, you were furnished a copy of the committee assignments at the last meeting. And you advise if you had any problems with this, please contact me. I have not been contacted as of yet. Has anybody changed their mind and decides they want another committee assignment? Okay, so we will continue to have the same committee assignments for this coming year. I don't have to read them, you have a copy of all of them in front of you, right? Okay, anybody in the audience here for the purpose of addressing the board? Anybody in the audience for here for the purpose of addressing the board? If not, we move on to the general manager report. Linda.
Okay, stop playing. There.
I want to mention, last year we accomplished three critical things for the police. One, on the southern end, here's the lock and gold in Medley, Ontario. This east side levee, we finally completed it, actually a couple of years of stacking the dirt and getting our machinery to get shape of levee. We went from about a 15-foot elevation to 18 in this area. So that's a tremendous improvement on the flood protection side. We thought we'd run a little short of dirt in shaping it, but it all worked out, and we've got that increased protection. And we walked done a number of other smaller projects. But again, there was New Year's a year ago that we still were very concerned about. This is the Yankee Canal levee. Of course, this area and the bay is not on the pump. Everything else is on the pump. And this levee was about barely a 2-foot elevation, and in a couple of spots it wasn't wider. And when the water elevation got to 1.5, it wasn't wider than maybe 18 inches. So now we have a 5-foot levee, and that levee is the crown is right at 10 feet. So that's one area that was scary last year, but it's in great shape right now. The other scary area is over here in the coastal canal where we had the sheet piling project going on. Of course, we had to cease and desist from the Corps. We went over to get them to take it off of us because there was one area that was extremely weak, and we were truly concerned about it. The Corps agreed with that, and we got that done a month and a half ago. But the key thing is the contractor was there with equipment. Had we had a storm, he could have worked 24 hours and taken care of that problem. And now we just have one little gap left to do where the shipyard was. But he's going to leave that open while he continues finishing the other part of the job where he has to put in sand and put rocks on top of the sand between the old wall and the new wall. But there we've gone from a 7.5-foot level protection to 13 feet. And that was kind of critical because those big slow storms, we're going to get the same amount of water here as we're going to get up here. And it would have been a shame to have us keep the water everywhere else out and have us flood the whole system from up here. But that's in place, so we're going to have to be really unlucky if that type of thing happens. So those are 3 major things that were done for us this past year. The other thing that we received is the map from FEMA and the flood insurance program showing the elevations on the outside of the system. And the outline doesn't show real well, but we basically show 9 feet up here. There's 13 on the west side. This is all different form over here. They think the water's going to stack up to 13 here. They're showing a 13 over here, but they're showing 12, 14. Here we have our levee, it's 18, and up in here we're getting to the ballpark of it's 15 and 16, and we're going to continue working on it. But what's important is now we have a map. We've never, after Katrina, we just decided to build as big a levee as we could afford, as high as we could, and we figured 16 on the south end and 13 on the north would work out pretty well. Well, these are computer models now, 10 years later, kind of showed us that we were pretty much in the ballpark. And our goal now is to keep at least a foot to 2 feet above what that outside elevation is. And that means we're going to need to do a little bit of work over here globally and do a little bit in the corner over here. And most other places, we're sitting in really good shape. But we will continue our project, and we can have 18, up to here, have 16 around here. We have a good chance of getting, they show 13 here, easily get to 16 all the way through here. With the projects we're about to get started this year, might take a couple of years to get there, but we're in good shape. But we're still able to get the benefits of our flood system, the flood insurance program right now. We're returning money to people because there was a slight change in the law, and we're looked at as a reduced risk area because we hadn't flooded it since 1985. So I'm hearing people receiving some money back on their flood insurance. And that's going to continue. And with this LAMP program, it looks like we will be able to continue keeping that advantage. But we still have not been certified by the Corps of Engineers, and that continues now. But the LAMP program will allow us to get the benefits of the system that we're building. And we need to continue to make sure that it stays the elevations that we've designed it for. Any questions? This past couple of weeks, the CPRA released, as the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority, the state released the master plan. And they basically, with sea level rise in their computers and subsidence, the subsidence is still the controlling factor. They're saying if we don't do anything, these red areas are areas that were land or marsh that would turn to water. Their plan, and this is the same area here, you can see here's our levee system here. The red lines are levee systems. What's kind of interesting, we have levee systems over here in southwest Louisiana. They show no structural protection. They're talking about just helping people to move out, basically. You'll also see up in the Lake Pontchartrain area. in St. Tammany Parish, they're saying there's 5,000 structures that they're gonna either elevate or help people leave. Now, the plan is a very expensive plan, and the money for the plan is not there. We are gonna have a lot of money from DP to get started, and most of that is gonna be just for restoration and not for flood protection. So when we continue doing our work over here, part of the plan is to reestablish the marsh along the Lafourche Ridge. That's kind of critical for a lot of reasons, but if we don't keep this separation between Barataria Bay and the Timberlake Terrebonne Bay, the forces, the water's gonna be moving around so much to cause a lot of problems for the island work they're planning to do over here. And that's real good for us. With Plaquemine Parish being sturdy and the island chain staying in place, that's gonna help knock down storm surge and finally gets to our levee system. That's a real good thing. One of the issues we have is a storm coming from the southwest to the northeast. The islands are not very good, and we don't have a lot of strength behind it. They are looking at strengthening the Bayou Terrebonne Ridge. That would be helpful. And if we can get something between the Bayou Lafourche Ridge and Terrebonne Ridge, again, that could help knock down the water. That's something that we, working with other people, might be able to get something going. But they are saying in this plan, which is being painfully honest, is that we cannot restore the entire coastal Louisiana. We will not be able to do it. But what we can do is manage the loss pretty well, and there are places that we can keep that are still here if we want to. And that's really what the plan is about, is keeping the areas. They're shown right here with some different types of projects, the various islands, these marsh restoration, and some diversions. They think we can hang on to what's on this picture here. But there's going to be some big challenges all over the place. And the money is not there to get it all done. And I don't know, the biggest amount of money we have for it right now is the BP oil spill money. And that's kind of a hell of a way to fund your restoration project. It's hoping that you get an oil spill. Yeah, it's not a good situation. But we have been successful, and we are in the plan. A lot of people are not in the plan. There's a lot of people not totally happy with the plan because it doesn't show their project. If the project's not in the plan, the state will not spend money on it. And we are in the plan, and they've put a lot of money toward the plan on paper, but as I tell you, there's not enough money to do all the things that are on this plan. Any questions? This is some of the work that we're doing for the Morganza project. There are a bunch of trees along the levee where we're going to build. This is the Grand Bayou, and they started to have trees, so we decided that getting a chip instead of just cutting it and trying to burn it with a chip, we can get it down and not have to spend much time and effort. And here's a machine taking some of the area out and clearing it, and here's a good run. It's ready to go. And there's the chip is doing its work. And you don't have to move that stuff around, you just leave it. Yeah. Now, there's that little job at the south end at Cornershamp where we're trucking it in, and this is the job right now. They're progressing that. They used the material that was available in the original contract. We extended the contract and added more cubic yards to finish the job. The rain has been slowing them down, but they should be finished about the end of January. And that's a little segment at the south end of this, and the Grand Bayou project should continue from this and go forward. We ought to have plans on Grand Bayou within the month. And then once we review it, possibly get advertisement and maybe get a contract out there by the spring. And that's a big project, a 6-mile project with material. And again, that's the guys doing the work in the area. Okay, next item is the LA1 Coalition. We've been a partner with them for the last few years, and we reviewed the membership, and it's $1,000 for that membership. I have a motion to approve the renewal of membership.
Do we have to the cooperative endeavor agreement.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in,
We've done this already?
yeah, it's the
Over
same,
here.
it's the same one we've done in the past, it's exactly the same one.
So we've approved the membership, everything's been done, right?
Well, we need to
We need to
approve of the board to go ahead and
Right
rent
now,
out.
you said we had approved it already. Okay, we need a motion to approve this, what is it, $1,000 we pay, or 5,000? What's the amount we get? 1,000, we get for the, I need a motion and a second to that, moved by Roland, second by Bobby, to renew our membership of the One Coalition. Any discussion on this matter?
One other thing, Wendy, I talked to Wendy, he usually comes and gives us an update. There's some things in the work right now, you know, new administration, and it looks like we're gonna get this segment built right here at the end of the road, first step to head south. With the new administration, the money looks more iffy, so they're trying to get something started, so, he's gonna wait till they settle things before he comes to give a report and update on what's going on.
Any other discussion? If not, we'll vote on it, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay,
Okay, just want to inform you, we've been looking for a borrow pit in Golden Meadow area. Our area from pump station number 1 to the Apache dock. So we've raised the levee, safety factor was reduced a little bit, so we're looking at getting some dirt to build the safety factor back up. We're looking different plans, but in that area, you know, the houses are right there, the bar canal. We can't expand the bar canal at all, okay? So we're looking at the possibility of getting a bar pit. I'm doing some negotiations with some private landowners about possibly buying property. I'm also looking at someone donating a bar pit. So, and what we'll be doing is just a pit, and we truck that dirt, again, between pump station number 1 and Apache. And that would be on the inside of the levee to strengthen and get the safety factor back to what it was before.
and someone tentatively agreed to that a few years ago?
Well, we have, not a few, I know we're talking to some people right now, but
Around Neil's pump, the old Neil pump station. Either Laterre or,
well, there's some, that's one of the places I'm looking to see if we can get donation. There's a little bit of a problem, that company had a lawsuit in another part of the country. They actually gave some guys the dirt, okay? They gave them the dirt, they took the dirt, they had some problems with the dirt, and they sued the company who had donated. And so now there's a little bit of a problem if they don't put the dirt on their own property. So it's one of the things we're trying to work through to try and get that dirt donated. But that's what we're looking at. Any way we can, we're gonna try to get some dirt in there to strengthen the safety factor in that area. But the levee is solid, it's just we want to get the safety factor a little bit better. And then meeting with Senator Chavez, CPRA, and also the governor. We had about 4 people with CPRA. They had about 5 people from the local parishes, from Cameron Parish, our area, with Senator Chavez to talk about the master plan. There's a couple of projects. The Bayou Shin structure was not in the project, and they were a little upset about that, and a couple of other issues. Cameron Parish had worked up a plan, a comprehensive plan, did the modeling, did the science, and their plan was not in the master plan. So we had a discussion, and again, they have a process that the CPRA goes through based on science. There's a lot of computer science, which computer science is, and computer models. It's kind of fuzzy science, because you throw in a whole bunch of computations and then you lay on top of each other. There's a lot of judgments, and computer models and hydraulic models are somewhat blunt. So there's going to be some discussion on that, and we just want to make sure that we get the best project possible, so we continue to work with CPRA and try to do that. Project completion of August 2017. We have 2 of the main projects is trying to get our roads closed. LA1 is we need the system. You know, we have the roads a little bit less than 13 feet. We got our levee up to about 16, and then the 4-lane highway is right a little under 10, and it's up to 13. So that's one of the projects we're trying to get done. There's a few others on the priority list, but it's a little bit more difficult. Our engineers are trying to work with the highway department, and it seems like everybody's afraid of the lawyers. You know, it's not being done for engineering reasons. They're saying, well, if we don't do certain things, someone gets in an accident, we'll get sued. And those things are taking us time and money. But our engineers are working through it. That's kind of delaying us on those projects. and we'll try to get that done.
Can you, while you're on that subject, can you give us an update on the Gulf and Coastal Waterway and the roads, the bulkheading, what's the status of it?
Well, that's what I'm saying, they've got just about all the sheet piled up except the area right where it goes in front of the shipyard. But they can leave that open because they have to fill in between the old wall and the new wall with some sand, and then they gotta cover that with rock. And once they do that, they'll come back and
They pulled out all the waves.
oh yeah, that's been
All been pulled
going, that's
out.
been going for a long time, and in fact, they've been bringing dirt in there to get it level so it drains in the opposite direction.
Would that be feasible to harvest dirt out of the canal and fill that in?
I don't know. Where's
the
the,
engineer on
No, I think the way the contract is structured, we're hauling in material, we didn't, try to get it in the permit, we thought that would end up taking a lot more time, and, yeah.
that? Okay.
any other questions? Okay. We need approval for the generator transfer switch. Again, that pump station's been there since 1993. It's an electrical port that transfers the generator to shore power. We have a quote of $5,825, and we'd like to get the approval to make that expenditure.
That's a turnkey price, that $5,800?
Yeah.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of our general manager to expend $5,825 to ASCO Services to replace the generator transfer switch at pump station number 6. Your wishes. Moved by Bob, seconded by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I don't think you said turnkey, it's more for push button, it's a big
At least it wasn't a plumbing.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
Generator.
Changes to the Ontario lock operations. You know, we have a lot of small aluminum boat travel through there, fiberglass boat. I'm not talking about the major boats going through. And we were having to lock and unlock a lot of times when the boats are there because that's our policy. So we've gone ahead and talked to different people, and we've checked with the Port Commission and other people, and then checked with the board. And just to save some wear and tear and make it more reasonable in operation of our lock, we're gonna open and close when we're operating the lock on the half hour. At the hour and on the half hour, we'll be opening for the boats that are waiting to go through. And unless there's no objections, we'll continue.
If I understand you correctly, what you told me earlier was that from the point, if someone shows 5 minutes after the half hour, the hour, they wait till the next opening. They don't just automatically do it.
That's right, and most of the guys, the lift force up there, they're gonna know if they miss it or not miss
But
it.
if you set a time, they know.
Yeah, they know. They
Word of
can
mouth
leave.
and a trial.
They know if it takes 10 minutes to leave the bayou where they're at with their
Where
boat,
they need it.
and they'll know to be in time or not be in time. So this way, everybody knows they have time.
Okay,
Approval of the 6-month installation for the Organza Action Committee. It's $19,000. That's well within the money all had authorized us with the organization. And so I'd like to have approval of that invoice.
fair, you heard the recommendation of our general manager to approve $19,250 to the Morganza Action Coalition, which we will remember, this helps support it and finance it. Terrebonne is matching, I think they put it twice what we put in, right? And Lafourche is also contributing.
Right.
Our share is $19,250. Your wishes. Moved by CJ, second by Mitch. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, our field employees need another truck. I'd like to, if there's no objections, we will advertise for a truck. Drake has the specifications lined up, and we'll go ahead and advertise for that truck. I think it should be under $30,000.
I think so, Eric. We got some quotes today and
Yeah,
a lot of going on.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and advertise for that truck, if there's no objection. All right, energy costs to relocate the power pole to the patching dock. Every time we get inspections, the Corps has mentioned that we do have that power pole in the levee, right near Apache Dock. There is, the old wall actually sits in there. We don't think there's too much of a threat, that's why we didn't jump on it right away. But again, now that we're gonna try to get the Corps to approve some of our stuff and also work toward the flood insurance issue, I think it would be a good idea that we do relocate that power line. It will cost about $17,000. So if y'all approve, we'll go ahead and give the Energy the go-ahead to relocate that line and that pole.
Expensive pole.
Actually, two of them,
17,000.
maybe more, it's two of them.
Well,
Horse is much better sincerely.
well,
Getting
it's
two
a
for
lot
one.
better now.
And they should
Then one
reasonable.
time, get it twice.
Okay, he's making a recommendation of our general manager to expend, what, $17,000 some odd dollars to LS Energy
Yes, Jim.
for the relocation of poles that are in our area right now. Moved by Mitch, second by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, getting approval to pay the cost, and if you have 12,000 on your list, it's actually 15,851 to relocate a vision communications cable at the Ontario lot. Again, we're working to raise the road where the gap is. To do that, we have to move the power, the vision cable out of the way. And even though we don't have the advertisement out yet, if we do this, if we don't do this now, it'll slow us down when we finally start getting the advertisement. You want to add anything to it, Joe?
I mean, we also have to move water lines, and the water district agreed to do that at no cost to the Levee district, so that's a big plus.
Nice.
Whatever happened to the cable companies agreeing to work with us? Remember?
They're not owned locally anymore.
Right there. Yeah, we give them a lot of services. Okay, so we need 15,851.73 to Vision Communications, right, for relocation of their cable service in that area. Okay, your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Roman, second by CJ. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Anything else? That's it? Okay, engineering reports. First, in line is the Corps of Engineers. Everybody have the report?
We got CCRA.
No, I know, but I'm glad to have him.
For a second, bro.
Next, we have the project. You're right, I switched pages. All right. Let me rephrase myself. Anybody from CPR in here?
Yeah, right. I think we might have got bumped in above force. No, Dana there with CPRA. Just as Wendell alluded to, we do have our the master plan is up on the website for public review and comment. Also, the annual plan. Remember last year, Wendell pointed out that comes out every year.
That's how I work.
Anyway, but the Crystal Master Plan, it's revised every 5 years, so this is 2017 at the time. But as part of that, we have the CPR is having a public meeting, series of public meetings. The one in this area is actually going to be in Houma on January 24th. That's a Tuesday. It's going to be at the Houma Civic Center. It'll open at 3:30 for open house, and then at 5:30, the presentations on both the master plan and the annual plan will be held, as well as public comment afterwards. So whoever can make it come out. That's it.
Any questions, Ben? Okay, now, Corps of Engineers, you want to give me a report? I think so. Project report, Michelle Associates.
Our AE dredging project, Slave Line Drag Line is complete, and we're in the lean period right now. So at the next meeting, we'll probably see a request for the changes to close that project out. On the elevation at LA 3235 at Highway 24, we did answer all of CPRA's questions. We have a conflict between facility planning and DOTD's comments, and we're working to resolve that with DOTD right now. I expect any day now we should have that resolved, and we can go out for bids. Once that's resolved, we'll get a permit from DOTD, and we'll get approval from facility planning for the running.
So we got a shot to get it done August 15th?
Yeah, I think so. On the mechanic shop, we did receive bids in December. We do have a little bidder for a contracting group from Thibodeau. The contract documents are complete with the contractor, and we're scheduling a pre-construction meeting for next week, and we'll start sometime probably next month.
Money-wise, you were doing great, Joe, till you got to the third.
Well, you don't owe this money right now, that's a
I
total.
know that, but we're gonna have to spend it eventually. So at this point, you're just informing us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions of Joe? That's it? Any questions of Joe in the presentation? If not, we'll move on to Jay Wayne.
So our permit for the water control in Golden Meadow, we got just about everything being all once, and that permit is good now. We're waiting on geotech to handle the Corps. He's asking us about how we're gonna tie in our mechanical levy to the levy. And we've got a good check on, doing the work right now, we're waiting to come up with some results. And then on our next project, which is the upgrades to pump station number 4, we have the mechanical drawings already. They haven't been back to us yet, but we're waiting for, he asked me for some more dimensional drawings because he's having problems moving everything he needs to move to get a crane where he wants it. But the rest of it is all right. The fuel tank building is ready. And what else we have done?
Well, we look at possibly putting something in the discharge box, now that we can't raise the
We
pipes
have that
anymore.
also.
You got it lined up?
Yes, we have that lined up. It's gonna be a bladder type,
Okay. Yeah.
Like a
device.
flap gate, got to stop it from backing up?
Flat side of the
Flap
back.
gate, we
No,
can't,
but lack of flap.
Yeah.
we can't use a flap gate because it would hold too much air and actually fool the pipes and
Right,
break
it's
them.
gonna be a specialized bladder that will really inflate with air.
We have a manhole at the top of the pipe, and so that's already, we can already get in the pipe, so it's already there, we just have to unscrew that, and put the bladder in,
Right.
inflate it, and if the water gets high enough to push water to the pipes, it'll stop. But one other thing, we also talked about between the discharge pipes, as the crown of the levee goes through.
John, boys, you're looking at that, I don't know what he has on it, I'm not aware, that he did any.
I'll give him a call.
All right.
Any questions, Andre? Then we move on to Antoinette, Ms. York, and you.
Okay, on B North and B South, this is on the west side between Basalt Pump Station and Golden Meadow Park. That project was awarded to Pontchartrain Partners for $6.68 million. The estimate on that project was $7.1 million.
Well, you did us on the very first one, you didn't wait till number 3.
There's no money due yet.
What do you said too, well, fair, right?
Contracts have been signed with the contractor, and we were looking to schedule a pre-construction meeting with that contractor later this week. On C South, which is from Apache Farm, going down to the Basalt Pump Station, we are currently advertising to receive bids on February 9th, and that project has an estimated cost of $6.7 million. On the LaRose flood wall elevation, that contractor is continuing with the flood wall construction. That's the project window that discussed where there's still a gap at David Industries. That should all be closed off in the next month or so. And we're recommending approval of their pay request number 10 for $60,535.90.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of engineers to pay $60,535 for pay request number 10 for the road flood wall elevation. Your wishes, moved by Mitch, seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, I'm Morganza to the Gulf Reach L. This is from Grand Bayou all the way up to the corner of Paul Luther's Farm. We are looking at completing the preliminary phase this month on the levee portion of that project. And on the structure portion, the Bayou, we're looking at completing that preliminary phase next month. On the Basalt Pump Station seepage wall, this is a project that had been completed already. The contractor has been paid the retainage. There was a request made to the district by Seymour LLC for $1,554.19 for diesel fuel that they had to use for a period of about 35 days when the overhead power was disconnected that serves their houseboat at Basalt Pump Station. I've looked at their request. I've looked at the number of gallons of diesel based on the number of days that they were down. We don't feel this is something that was the contractor's responsibility, so I'm recommending to the district that they should pay that invoice for $1,500.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of engineers to pay Seymour LLC $1,554.19 for reimbursement for fuel expended while we were disconnected their shore power.
Yes.
I was just wondering, how much electricity would have been used if we had a diesel?
No question, diesels could be a heck of a lot more expensive than electricity. No question about that. But what was the alternative?
None. There's really no.
He was there,
We had-
24
We
all
had
that time.
disconnect electricity, there's rock sheet piles and.
Maybe that's something engineers should, when the engineers and the contractors were first hand when they prepared the bid.
Yeah, there's really not much around it. It was an area that we were not aware that they were being served, and even Entergy, when they disconnected the power, wasn't aware that there was a house pole that was taking service from it. So it wasn't until power was disconnected that a gentleman from the company approached the contractor and said, hey, we got power cut off, and,
Moved by Monty, seconded by Bobby. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those no, motion carries. Anything else, Nick?
that's it.
Thank you. Okay, Delta Consultants.
I have like a few slides that I was going to show y'all. Yeah. All I really wanted to give you guys was a little update on the mitigation project going on for K&L, really just K. And this is all going on the Pointe-a-Chan Wildlife Management Area with North Lafourche Levee District's in-house marsh buggy and Terrebone's in-house marsh buggy. Terrebone's is actually down right now for repairs, so it's just North Lafourche working. This is the marsh terraces that we have planned for Reach K. We're currently working in, oh boy, oh, I got it back. Is there a trigger on this thing? But anyway, we're working in phase 1 right now, which is the most southern end. I believe they started working a little bit on phase 2, but they're doubling up trying to get phase 1 done right now. So what I'm going to do between now and the next board meeting is do a survey to see exactly where we stand for footprint and elevation on this, to see how much left we have to fulfill our obligations. This just kind of shows you what they're doing. They're borrowing the material adjacent and building these terraces. We normally don't, we have a cut in them every 750 feet, or no more than 750 feet. Just to give you an idea of about what they look like now. Bethany, who's with my office, took a trip out there on Thursday.
Bethany is from Cutoff.
Right.
Catching the fish while you were there back
I was very tempted.
Everyone needs the one from Lafourche Parish.
That's right. We all know Lafourche Parish is better.
Thank you for admitting.
Yeah. Most of my office is from Lafourche. I guess it's successful about what we're doing. Yeah. The little blue flag shows the final elevation on these terraces, which is 5 feet. And what we're doing is we're building the 5 we know they're going to settle. And hopefully they'll settle down to about 2.5 feet, which is what we expect. For mitigation and credit for having functional marsh, they don't count anything that's above 2.5 feet. So if it's got to be 2.5 feet and less to be counted for marsh. So that's how we design these things, to have 50 foot or so of width at or below 2.5 feet, and then they count that as functional marsh. Interesting enough, as we're going through new permits right now, they're starting to tell me that if I want to do terracing, I have to build even more than what we originally requested, because they don't like terracing as a form of mitigation now. So, but those are the different hurdles that we have every day. So what we do is we go out and lay these things out with these cane poles, and the operators know exactly where to build and borrow from here. And you can see that. But anyway, the spacing in between them is about 180 feet center line to center line. They say it takes about at least 300 feet for waves to start building up, so you're stopping any wave action in this zone. And we've seen how well these have held up on the other side of the Pointe-a-Chan Wildlife Management Area. But anyway, we're going to keep doing this, double teaming it with North Lafourche's machine and Terrebone's machine till we get all this done. And this is not the only mitigation project. As you all are aware, we're preparing, All South is preparing plans for a mitigation project on the other side. But that's really for reach K work when we start having impacts on, reach L when we start having impacts on that side. See, the birds are already enjoying what we're doing out there. So we'll have a full update of where we are on phase 1 and what's done in phase 2 in the next coming months. And hopefully we'll be getting to a point where grass is starting to grow in here pretty soon so that we don't have to go plant them. Usually the grass takes off pretty quick. That's a picture of North Lafourche's machine. Actually, this one is, this buggy's injured too, so they're waiting for the other one to come back online so they can bring this one in and get this one repaired. I think he's got some stress cracks in his boom. And that happens when you're doing this much digging and that much work. We've seen it a lot on the work we've done on the other side. But it's really starting to shape up good. That's about probably 2.5 feet. We're looking at what they got standing up now. So we're gonna have to make another lift before we get some complete sections there. I'll go there. If you have any questions, you can stop me and ask me. That's it. I just wanted to give you a little visual of what we got going on over there. Go ahead. I'm just saying I don't have, anything on any of the other projects. Wendell gave you a little update on what's going on there. We are starting to meet more frequently regionally with Matt to set priorities for what needs to get done. Reggie gave a little talk in Thibodeau in front of Big a few hours ago, and how important it is to close off that gap. Not so much for South Lafourche, but for North Lafourche and for Terrebonne, to get Grand Bayou, floodgate built, the Bayou Blue floodgate built, and those levee sections, we have a 1.5 mile gap that we need to address. So that's going to be a high priority for us. It's a high priority ask in our capital outlay request for this year. And so we're going to be concentrating on that, as well as moving on to starting to think about things like the intercoastal canal floodgate at La Rose.
Yeah, we're talking about, this would be on the east side of our system, near, just past North America, and going across the intercoastal, outside of that area, blocking any water from coming into the intercoastal. That's going to be a big project.
And Dwayne is also, with North Lafourche, starting to put down on paper what the alignment's going to be going to Lockport, which all those things are going to tie into your system at some point, right around North America, and where that floodgate is and how we're going to circle back around and tie into your system on the north side. So, as well as we're going to have to improve everything along the intercoastal canal, because that will be Morganza too, from the new floodgate coming all the way down to Reach L. So everything along the intercoastal canal there will be part of Morganza. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that and maintain the current level of protection that you have right now.
You probably answered this question before, but I'm asking again. At what level will you maintain the levee in Lafourche from the point where L&K joined to our levee to where it gets into the floodgate? Will you be elevating that along the intercoastal?
Yes, it's going to have to be elevated. Because you are at 13 feet right now, right?
That's what we're building to.
Right. I think our final elevation is going to be 15 feet. And any runoff that we would cause on your system would have to be addressed too.
And that would be from the
tie-in point south.
Yeah, so especially the area right here by the Apache farm, the old Apache farm. That's going to be a little bit, you got a 90-degree angle, just going to have some runoff. And there'll be a distance from that point that Morganza will be responsible for raising the levee.
Which I would imagine it's just going to be thousands of feet or shorter. But it'll be something that'll have to be improved.
Hey, I've lived my whole life here in Lafourche Parish, and I've never seen the level of cooperation between Terrebonne and Lafourche that's existing right now. We seem to be working hand in glove, because we're aware that whatever we do affects you, and whatever you do affects us. And I've got to compliment you on the cooperation and coordination.
I think a big part of that is you
Good for all of
guys,
us.
you guys are a big part of that cooperation and really y'all have done things from Organza that don't benefit you.
Yeah.
And y'all have
But
stood
it does
in
benefit,
this
it
place
does benefit us in the long run.
and pass these things forward because y'all know how important it is to your neighbors. So, that's a testament to you guys, it really is.
I got the compliment on it, you know, to dig it out. Hey, Mitch, you
Good job, it was tough. He's under medication.
He's just really getting to know me. We spent too much time together.
Yeah, all South Consultants.
Clark Palm, All South Consulting Engineers, 302 School Street. The first project I'm going to give an update on today is the Reach Cave Hallman section. That's the project that's currently underway. Mr. Window showed some pictures earlier. That project was awarded to Lowland Construction back in July. The notice to proceed was issued for August 15th. It was a 120-day calendar contract with a substantial completion target date of December 13th. The contractor began his work during the week of September 26th. There's been 2 change orders for this project. The first change order was to increase the quantity of material from 35,000 cubic yards to 55,000 cubic yards. And the second change order is to add 45 calendar days to the contract. And that was basically to account for that extra material that had to be brought in. So the new target substantial completion date is January 27th, 2017. And both these change orders have been approved by CPRA as well. As of now, the contractor is hauling in that additional quantity at this time. He didn't perform much work over the holidays, but we do expect him to be finished during the month of January. The next project is the Reach Cave on-site excavation. The South Lafourche Levee District and All South met with CPRA back in November to discuss the final design options. And basically CPRA gave us 2 options that we could use. We could place down geotextile fabric along the entire length of the levee and then put the material on there in one pass. Or we would have to, if we didn't want to use the geotextile fabric, we'd have to make 3 passes. Make 1 pass, then place the material on, make another pass, place more material, and make a final pass. And as of right now, we believe the best option would be the option that doesn't include the geotextile fabric. It's going to jack the cost way up. And the last project is the Reach Cave marsh mitigation. All South conducted magnetometer survey back in October, and that was to basically check for any hazards that might be under the ground in the borrow and placement areas. And All South met with the South Lafourche Levee District and the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District, and it basically shows that those areas are suitable for the material. As of right now, All South is working on developing a topographic survey plan and a geotechnical plan for this area. And that's all I have.
On the agenda, we have Reach Cave Access Road. That's a typo.
That's kind of part of,
Part of your mitigation, just give.
Well, no, the dredging project is named a access road since it's not a true levee. But that's more,
Devious, huh?
that's more of a Wendellism than anything else.
I shouldn't have brought it up. Okay, moving on. Okay, any questions? Thank you, Tom. Okay, moving on to CDNI. Mark?
Good
Mike?
afternoon. I'm fighting a head cold just like you, so if I sound a little muffled, that's what it is. I'd like to make a brief presentation on the preliminary report that we submitted in December on the Grand Bayou flood control structure. So this is the overall Organza system map. and showing the area all the way from Point of Shen on the east to Falcon Canal floodgate structure, which is under design by our office right now. It's going to be bid this month probably. It will be under construction on the east side. And then we have some other structures which are already been constructed through the southern part of the Merganza system. But the structure that we're talking about today is the Grand Bayou floodgate structure that sits right in this area. Point of Shen floodgate is under construction right here to the south, and then we have the Apache Farms area, Reach L and Reach K, which is under construction, as you know, by All South. And then this is, like I said, Reach L here. And then our Grand Bayou floodgate structure sits right in between those two segments. So this is a blow up of that area again, showing you Reach K right here, Grand Bayou floodgate structure here, Reach L, and then the segment that Neil has under design, Reach L here, and the Bayou Blue floodgate, which he has under design, and then the Apache Farms area, which CPRA is handling. So that kind of tells you geographically where the floodgate sits. So as I've talked about in the previous months, we looked at 3 options to the floodgate structure. We looked at first of all, the report talks about 134 foot steel barge gate. We're talking about 134 foot clear opening when we speak about the size of the gates in the report. So the first one is, option 1 is 134 foot clear opening, but it's a larger swing gate that comes out of that opening. And then again, a 60 foot clear opening with a steel barge gate with 5 sluice gates is option 2. And then option 3 is a 56 foot clear opening for a double leaf sector gate. So those are 3 options we looked at. And when you look at a 134 foot clear opening for option 1, it yields 146 foot long, about 40 foot wide, about 30 foot high steel barge gate to a top elevation of 18. 34 foot is a 17 foot hull with a 13 foot steel flood wall on top of the deck to get you 30 feet high. So that's option 1. This is a site plan, and I know it's a lot here, and when we get into our recommendation of the structure that we're recommending, I'll show you some drawings that we put together, which will give you a better visualization of what all this is about. Some renderings we put together, but this is just a planned site view showing the steel barge gate in the open position, stored position here. Again, this is Reach K here going to Point of Shen. This is Reach L coming up to La Rose. The steel barge gate in the open position. These are storage areas with vertical piles in each of these areas, the storage area and in the landing area. Of course, timber fender system, navigation system along this area, and then navigation pile clusters in here, and along these areas. And then all of this would be dredged to a -12 elevation. Looking at option 2 is for a 60 foot clear opening, yields a 66 foot wide, 66 foot long by 24 foot wide by 30 foot high steel barge gate. Again, all these structures are to an elevation of 18 feet. Now, option 2, as I said, does include 5 16 by 10 sluice gates for hydraulic reasons. Again, this is same, basically, site plan showing how that lays out with the steel barge gate in the open position, and then the similar structures as we have for option 1.
And the sluice gates would be,
They would be constructed in this wall. 3 would be on this side, and then 2 would be on this side. And that's the other thing. This is a steel sheet pile braced wall here that extends from here all the way to tie into the levees on each side. And then finally, option 3 is a 56-foot wide clear opening for the double leaf sector gate, which is concrete T-walls, precast concrete panels on each side with a double leaf sector gate. It's a more complicated structure to construct. It has to be constructed in the dry. We'll have to build a temporary retaining structure, a cofferdam essentially, to construct this structure. So it is very much more complicated, and therefore it's more expensive as well.
But it's just like our floodgates we have on the mark.
yeah, so.
Just a little higher.
Right.
Well, actually, the same that you have now with your extensions, right? And you're at 8.
We're at the 16.
Yeah, so.
This would be to 18.
And this is what you currently have in your permit. That's about what this permit.
Right. So, a little different site plan, the T-walls that connect to the monolith walls, the concrete monolith walls that contain the sector gate, and then a leaf on this side and this side, which flows.
You say a little bit more expensive, how much a little bit more?
We're gonna get into that in this next slide. So-
What are you talking about?
When we look at it, we price out all the features. The 142-foot, 134-foot clear opening, 142-foot long steel swing barge gate is 21.9. The 66-foot wide sluice gate, swing gate with the 5 sluice gates is almost equal, about $400,000 less, at 21.6. And then the sector gate is twice the price, at $39.9 million. Much more expensive structure to construct. So, what we're recommending to move forward the preliminary design is the option 1, the 146-foot steel swing barge gate with a braced sheet pile wall. It is, the more economical, a little more expensive than the option 2 with a smaller swing barge gate with the sluice gates, but this is the type of structure that we have all in on the Terrebonne levee system, and we found it to be very easy to operate and easy to maintain. And that is, for those reasons, that's the one that we recommend the board move forward with.
What kind of commercial traffic would you expect it to go down that line?
I don't think we're going to see very much.
It's most about just letting the water go through for environmental reasons. They want a big opening because they don't want to restrict flow.
Yeah.
And obviously recommend, option 1 you recommended because it's, maintenance over time is cheaper with option 1 than the cost savings that you have with option 2, right? With maintaining the sluice gates.
Yeah. That's
over time, it's going to be a more expensive option for you.
Yeah, that's what we feel is
Combine the cost of operations
operations.
and maintenance is obviously going to be cheaper. than
You got 5 more structures that you have to operate in addition to the swing barge gate. So, we feel like it's going to be easier operational wise to have just one long swing gate.
And normally, this is one of the unusual cases, normally we
seen in training data we have for other structures, the sluice gate's cost usually puts it over the one bar gate. In this case, it actually came right under. It was just a little different when we looked at it. But what we're saying is that over time, you know, 5
Right, so-
versus one bar, so it's better.
Yeah, if you have a problem with your sluice gate, you gotta dewater it to go probably fix the structure, right?
The methodology is gonna be a lot different than
Yeah.
dry out bars.
So I mean, it could get costly. But my other question was, and I don't remember this from the PAC report, is the 12-foot navigation based off the PAC report or the actual physical?
12 was based on the permit.
Okay. It's possible that we could look at maybe reducing that sill elevation. We might not need 12-foot navigable stream in there, and we can look at that in the permitting, and they save us a lot of
I
money.
think if you look at flow again,
Yeah.
is part of the reason.
Yeah, but you can, there's
Yeah,
things you can do with flow.
Yeah, not gonna go
Right.
wide, but that costs too, so.
We
But
can't-
it's a good thing to look
You
at.
can, but there's another thing that comes into play. Once you change the elevation, it changes your permit. Right now, you can put another structure in as long as you maintain flow, depending on opening.
That was your question.
Well, once you change that sill, you're revisiting that, so.
You permitted for double leaf going to this, would that cause a problem with your permit?
No, we've always set up, when we had permits in the beginning, we had the sector gate. Obviously, we wanted to see, everybody loved that sector gate, right? When it came down to it, we always compared it to cost to show the difference in price and what we're dealing with. What we do is we present the structure we want. As long as we do not restrict it further or create a flow issue as far as hydrology or hydraulics, then we don't have any issues. When you start changing sill depth though, that's something we need to work out.
I think it's the same argument. If you change the geometry of it, you gotta accommodate it for some kind of way.
That's a potential savings, though, that's an option.
I think that's
That actually reduces the cost.
Something we could look at.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, we're at the right stage to be looking at that.
Sure, no, this is a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, that would be the time to do it.
And it'd be relative to all structures. If you change the sill elevation, that cost won't change in your options or opinions right now.
So this kind of gives you a better picture of what I was showing in the plan view, and these are some renderings we put together of what it would look like. This is again in the open position. This is toward Lockport, this is Reach K toward Point of Shen in the open position. Some features, we have a diesel generator, here's the flood wall. Here's a diesel generator that sits here, a closing winch and a fair leader here, and the operator console at this point. And how this operates is that from when you're ready to close this, you would start hauling in cable. There's a cable that extends from here to this, what we call a receiving jacket on this side and this side. This cable is connected to this receiving jacket over here on this pipe pile, and start hauling in cable to close the gate while letting out cable on this opening winch that sits on the flood side of this.
It's just like our old
Pontoon bridge.
So it's a winch system there, operating, you know, 2 winches in tandem with each other, hauling in one and paying out on the other. Some other features, you know, this is the landing pile, this landing area that I was talking about. And again, these are the receiving jackets. These are typically manufactured, fabricated in the shop, comprised of, you know, for this structure, we're probably looking at 78-inch pipe piles, and then horizontal and vertical bracing. And all this would be fabricated in the shop and then brought out to the site, sunk. And then vertical piles would be driven through these three or four areas here through these piles, and that sets it in place. And then concrete is poured into those piles that you're driven, and then the annular space between the pile and the jacket is filled with grout. So that's, you know, a robust jacket that we call here on both sides. And then this is the braced sheet pile wall that I talked about.
Okay, I have a question. The protected area is to the left
Protected is,
and the unprotected is to the right.
yes, sir.
Why is all the barge and everything on the unprotected side?
Tide's
We-
coming in.
Yeah, as we move, so yeah, as the, the tide is, we're gonna move this prior to a storm event. So we're gonna close, the tide would be pushing in from this direction during the storm event. So prior to the storm event, we're gonna be moving it, prior to that movement of water.
Yeah, if you get an emergency, if you, for some reason, slow in reacting, you wanna have the incoming flood help close it. Then have to fight that flood to close the gate. That's why.
So if you had to fight the incoming, you'd have these
Yeah.
gigantic winches on here that would drive the cost up and feasibility of doing this a lot.
And you don't wanna wait too late, cause the water might
Right.
take it and actually slam that barge.
Right, then you would be
That could
moving.
never happen. That could never happen.
No, that never would.
That's really wrong.
Unless Reg is running it.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, we've always put the barge gate on the flood side and moved it, from the flood
Because
side.
almost
to
everything is in the
protected
protected side, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Our two gates.
The
No,
forces,
actually, our gates on our walls that we had, they were designed the same way. If we had water coming in the system, which actually for Hurricane Juan did happen, the water coming in actually helped close the system and lock it in. And the flood at Apache, the wall actually folded, and if we have the same situation, all the wall gates that we had, all of them were designed, they were on the outside and the flood side, and if water's coming in, it helps close the gate. If you try to fight it, it's a lot worse problem.
And what's hard to see here is some of the features under the water. This is all constructed in the
Yeah.
wet, meaning there's no coffer dams. It expedites construction. You don't have to bypass channel, which obviously decreases your overall cost. There's they call it a cutoff wall that actually
Yeah.
runs.
It would run like from here, around here, and then tie back into the brace flood wall. And then there's a horizontal seal that likewise, that follows this flood wall. It's on the under bottom of the barge gate. So when it's closed, it's sealing against this seal, this cutoff wall that's below the water.
A lot of questions we get is, how does it, the water can come underneath? It's sitting on a design structure on the water path, no seepage, no issues itself. And when the forces actually come from the surge, it actually pressures even harder against that seal, and it actually makes it function even better.
Okay.
So it's not a concrete bottom that you're pushing
No,
against.
No,
It's
it's
steel, the whole
all,
thing.
the sheetrock driven with
A cap plate on top
cap.
of it.
That's done by divers.
And that's another reason why you want that pressure on the outside.
And
How
this
high
was
would
a
the
bubble
generator
seal.
be?
The generator, this deck is about a +5, and the generator would sit about 10 feet high. It could sit on a little platform. We put them on a platform with stairs to get to the generator.
And by the newest one, the generator is on the flood wall itself at +18. So,
Yeah. And what the diesel generator does, it generates electricity for the operation of the electric motors for the winches, and then some floodlights. And then the pumps, the electric submersible pumps.
Because
So-
that's the difference too. You have
Yes.
to take water out of the barge, move it, and put water back in the barge to seal it. That's different from the second gate. That's the
Right.
big difference.
Yeah,
So what
we-
this
we
has-
incorporated the submersible pump that.
What you want to see.
But TCI is the best one we've done so far versus the overall centrifuge type pump, and the larger barge gets more complicated. Yet they work, that's how Gulf Dub set up, but we're finding with submersible.
Submersible pumps to operate, push button, one push button with set points in these compartments, one push button to fill the compartments to certain levels, and then one push button to dewater another pump in that same compartment to dewater those compartments. And the barge gate is divided into 8 compartments.
The biggest thing we said, increase somewhat cost, but the manpower is minimal compared to what Levee District has to run a petite, compared to if we've got a lot of manual operations on Gulf Dub and tremendous. So we've seen
But
a
it's
lot of
all
manpower.
automated ballasting system. One push button from the operator here. It's very easy to operate the ballasting system. So essentially, all the operator is doing is operating the winches. Another feature is the flow-through pipes. We have 72-inch diameter flow-through pipes that are inside the hull. And what that allows that to do with flat valves on it. And when the structure is in the closed position and water level is much higher in the protected area than it is on the flood side, those flat valves can be opened to relieve the pressure before the gate is released from the seal here, released from the pin. We have a locking pin that locks the gate into place with a receiving lock on this caisson right here. So it locks it into place, but before releasing that, we could open those flat valves and relieve some of that head, that pressure before releasing the pin and opening it.
What is the depth of the barge?
Sir?
What is the depth of the barge?
30 feet.
30 feet, well, the depth, it's a 17-foot hull with a 13-foot flood wall. So, you know, it drafts about 3 feet. So it's, you know, if this is an elevation about 5, then, you know, 12 feet below that.
So when you close the gate, that board, depending on the size, that board can go up and down.
Right, well, when we close it, then we would ballast it. Then we would
Sink it
turn the
on,
pumps on.
But the hinge or the pivot, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
it's gonna have to be something that the board can go up and down.
That's correct. Yeah, that's the other, I failed to, you know, that's the other feature right here is a pivot pile, which allows this barge gate to rotate in 3 directions. It can move left to right, tilt left to right, it can move horizontally, swing, or it can move up and down. Yeah, so that pivot pile is sitting here. And there's a, you know, a pipe clamp. There's a system that we have, a clamp that attaches with a fabricated piping to connect from there to the gate. Just some more renderings. This shows it again in an open position, but a little more clearer. And here you can see, here's the opening winch on the flood side and the fair leader there. And we would have a pivot pile, what we'll call a pull structure pile here, which allows this cable to connect to this pile, which isn't shown. And that cable is connected as it moves in this direction to close. That cable is let out and fastened to this pile structure at this point. And again, you know, the closing cable is underwater here.
How much traffic, what kind of traffic do you have going through the canal there?
We don't anticipate any very little commercial. It's not connected to the Gulf Intracoastal Waterway.
So my question is, why do you need such a wide opening if there's no traffic?
For hydraulic reasons, to let the flow of the water, natural flow when it's
From
open.
the beginning, the whole issue with this floodgate is allowing the water to go up and down Grand Bog. It's not about boat traffic. The width's not about boat traffic.
Environmental concerns, not that.
Exactly.
There's a certain cross-sectional area that's needs maintained, that's the only way we get that permit.
Part of this was, going back to remembering how this plan came up, was the environmental team wanted to dredge Grand Bayou to get more water coming down from the intercoastal, and that was also factored into the sizing of this.
The dam decided to do that.
And would have been trying to do it for what, 20 plus years now that I know of, so that was factored into the sizing of it as well.
Yeah, and that's the only way to get fresher water down to that area between the Lafourche Ridge and the Terrebonne Ridge. as the water then of course gets fresher, that's a possibility, and that's more what it's put in there.
Okay, is it Mike?
And just a lot of renderings, this is in the closed position. And then just a more
Inside.
close view of it, showing the flood wall here and looking at it from the protected side to the flood side. So, that's where we are, and we would, that's the recommendation we would like to make, is to move forward with that type of structure.
It looks like a moon skate, you know about a moon shot. It looks like a moon skate right there. What is a moon shot?
Moving permits and rights of ways. Board attorney, Mr. Sani,
Nothing new to
just
report.
came to visit with us today. Maintenance and equipment.
All right, President, we met, we put out bid for a new compact excavator. We had 7 people return bids, and the low bid was Levee tractor for a Case GX57C at $53,587. And the committee went with the lowest bid.
Okay, recommended by Keith and seconded by Bobby, that we accept this low bid, $53,587, no wishes. Moved by Keith, seconded by Bobby, we're gonna vote on it. Any questions, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And one more thing, as Wendell stated earlier, we're going to be putting out bid for a new pickup truck.
That one don't get no air conditioning.
No, we don't get that.
Not right now.
Standard chair.
Just use it in the winter time.
All the excavators and tractors.
That's how they want us to,
The work
all
is
new
getting
trucks. I'm like, oh, look, everything I've been working
Buy it, you go through the years and you don't buy it.
I'm about to catch up walking wheel.
Finance committee, Monty.
Buy it 30 years ago, saved a lot of money.
Mr. President, the Finance Committee reviewed all invoices, and we recommend they be paid as presented.
Okay. Motion by Finance Committee Chairman, we pay all bills as indicated, seconded by CJ. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to adjournment. Moved by Bob, seconded by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.